Everybody knows that when you want to freeze dry a lasagna, there are problems. And the most common solution to freeze drying lasagna is to make your lasagna, cut very thin slices, and then lay them on the side in your tray. And that works, there's no problem with that. But I would like to try something different. So we're going to see if we can't make something that tastes just as good as lasagna, but assembled a little bit different. So follow along and let's just see how we solve that problem. All right, let's start putting together our lasagna recipe. So to start off with, I got 1 pound of Jimmy Dean premium pork sausage Italian. And we're going to go ahead and add that to our skillet here. And I got 1 pound of lean ground beef. We're going to add that to the skillet with the sausage. We're going to get that all browned up. So that'll take a few minutes. I'll be right back. All right. My ground beef and sausage is nice and brown. So what I'm going to do is turn that off. And on the stove over there I have a huge pot of water going, and we're going to cook up 2 12-ounce bags of extra broad egg noodles according to the package instructions. So I'm just waiting for that pot to boil, and we'll get those cooking. I'm going to get this drained, and I'll be right back. Okay, my noodles are done. They're over in the sink draining, and my oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I want to make this a 5 cheese lasagna with meat. So for my 5 cheeses, I have 2 6-ounce packets of grated Parmesan cheese. This is the like freshly grated, not the powdered stuff. You know, this is the shredded. So 2 6-ounce bags of those. I've got 2 8-ounce tubs, and I'm probably going to butcher the name on this, but it's mascarpone cheese. 2 8-ounce tubs of that. I got a 2-pound tub of ricotta cheese. And for the topping, I have Great Value's provolone mozzarella blend, and this is non-smoked provolone. And I probably said that wrong too. Y'all will let me know. But we are going to set that aside because that is for the topping. So in my big bowl here, let's just get this all mixed together. My 2 pounds of ricotta, my 2 6-ounce bags of Parmesan going in the bowl, and my 2 8-ounce tubs of mascarpone right in this bowl. Alright, then we're going to add 2 jars of marinara sauce, and I'm using Bertolli traditional marinara sauce. 2 jars of that. Alright, so we got all that in the bowl, so we're going to give that all a good mix. And that's pretty well mixed. Now we're going to take our ground beef and sausage that we browned earlier and mix that in. Alright, let me grab my noodles and we'll toss those in. And get those all nice and mixed in. Now at this point we can salt and pepper it to taste. I'm kind of cutting back on my salt, so I'm not going to add any more salt than what was in the sauce and the cheeses. But we will put some black pepper in there. And let's give it a cook's taste and see if we got something to go with here. Oh yeah, Very lasagna taste. All right. Let's get some of this table cleared off and I'll be right back. All right. So I got my two 9x13 casserole dishes. Where's my spray? We're just going to give these a light spray. Going to go ahead and fill our 9x13s. All right, we got those full. Hopefully I got enough room for cheese on here. All right, let's open one of our 1 pound bags. Let's see how much I can get on there. You want to spread this nice and evenly over the top. That one held it very well. So we will put the other bag on our second casserole dish. All right. Since these are so full, make sure you put a baking sheet underneath them in case they bubble over and don't want to make a mess in your oven. So I have one of those in my oven. So I'm going to pop these in my preheated oven. We'll start at 30 minutes and keep an eye on it. We want it nice and bubbly and golden brown. As golden brown as mozzarella and provolone will get. And I'll come back and let you know how long it was in my oven. I'll see you then. All right, look at that. Those are gorgeous, bubbling around the edges. Just for a note for you, they did not bubble over in my oven, which is a bonus. No mess to clean up. Nice and golden brown. Let me get a nice close-up for you guys to check this out. That smells and looks beautiful. All right, I can hardly wait to dig into this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let this cool down for quite a bit. Probably longer than I normally would do if I were going to eat it fresh. But we are going to try it up. We'll just see how patient I can be digging into this. But we'll let it cool down certainly for a little while. So I'll be back and we'll do a fresh taste test and we'll try up for the freeze dryer. I'll see you then. Okay, this isn't cooled down enough to tray up yet, but curiosity got the best of me and I'm hungry. I'm going to dig in and have some. Let's see what it came out like. Oh yeah, look at that stringy cheese. Let's have a taste of it fresh. Oh yeah. That tastes like lasagna. Very easy to put together. A little bit expensive with all the different 5 cheeses. But we got 2 huge casseroles out of that. Well, let that finish cooling down and I'm going to finish eating this. We'll be right back to tray it up. I'll see you then. All right, let's get this trayed up for my medium Harvest Right freeze dryer. So 2.5 pounds per tray. So we'll get 2.5 pounds on here. I'll be right back. All right, there's 2.5 pounds exactly. Let's put our dividers in there and get that cut into 10 squares. Just like that. Now I got 2 more trays to do, exactly the same, and I'll be right back. All right, check that out. 3 trays, 2.5 pounds in each tray. And look at this. I don't think I've ever had this much left over. I got all that left over. I'm a happy camper. So we'll get this in the freezer, get it frozen solid. Next time you see it, it'll be coming out of the freeze dryer. I'm going to be eating on this week and probably end up even freezing some of this just for I can pop in the freezer, and someday when I want something for lunch I can pop out a Ziploc bag of that and have some of that. Win, win, win. Love it. Alright, so I'll see you when this comes out of the freeze dryer. Alright, there we go. My Five Cheese Lasagna Pasta is done. So let's get her packaged up real quick. Nice and humid today, so we're not going to mess around. Three squares per meal pouch. Give a gentle crumble as you put them in. Set them off to the side. I'll be right back. All right, we got those bagged up. Get my 300cc O2 absorbers open. I'm going to pop one 300cc O2 absorber in each pouch. Zip it shut. Now I'll get the rest of these pouches done and I'll be right back. Alright. Got all the food in there, a 300cc O2 absorber. It's zipped shut. Let's go ahead and put our heat seal on there. Set that off to the side and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got those all sealed up. We'll leave them out for a day or two to make sure everything looks good on the seals. And looks good. We'll throw it in for long-term food storage, and later on I'll come back and we will open one of these up and rehydrate it. I'll see you for the taste test. Alright, let's dig into our 5 cheese lasagna. Take out our O2 absorber. Nice full packet pouch. Let's put our 3/4 of a cup of hot water in there and zipper shut. Alright, we're going to let that sit for 2 minutes. Alright, that's been 2 minutes. So let's give it our first stir. See how it's coming together. Oh yeah, got a beautiful smell to it. I'm kind of worried about the cheese in here, because we had a lot of mozzarella topping, a very thick mozzarella topping on that. I'm not sure how that's going to come back. Will it come back in the total of 4 minutes that we normally rehydrate with? I don't know. Let's get that shot. Alright, we'll wait 2 more minutes. And during that 2 minutes, let's go ahead and talk about my meal pouches. I haven't talked about those in a while. I get my meal pouches from TopMylar.com. I've been getting them from them for years, and I like the meal pouch in particular because your fork can get all the way to the bottom, which makes it very convenient for eating straight from the pouch. The reason I really want to bring this up to you is because I've mentioned it in a couple of my past videos, but just to remind you, we have 2 codes that you can use at TopMylar.com, and the first code is BIBS. And if you spend $50 or more, you can use the code BIBS and save $5. That's an indefinite. You can use that code as many times as you like for however many times you want to do it. They also have a coupon code, BIBS10, 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 and you save 10% on your whole order. If it's a $100 order, you save 10%, you save $10. I mean, that's a really great coupon, but it's a single-use only coupon. Now, the great news, the fantastic news, is if any of you, my viewers, have used that code prior to July 1st of this year, if you used it prior, your single-use code, that has been reset. So you can now use that code again one more time. So that's just great news. And I recommend that you use the code BIBS10 on a larger order, and if your order is around $50, use the code BIBS, B-I-B-S, because you'll save $5, and if it's about $50, you'll save 10% of $50, which is $5. So just using BIBS. So that's just my recommendations, and I wanted to share that with you in case someone hasn't got the message yet. That code number has been reset for BIBS10. All right. So we've had this set for 4 minutes total. Give that one more stir. And it looks really good in here. I think I'm feeling a little stiffness on the cheese, but we're going to go ahead and eat it anyway. Check that out. Get all that nice sauce out of there. That looks gorgeous. Let's dig in and see what it tastes like. Noodles have come back perfectly. The ground beef and the sausage and the cheese sauce has come back perfectly. Let's get some of this. Oh yeah, it's not stringy cheese like it was out of the oven, but it was pretty promising. I just cut through that very easily with the fork. There's a little bit of string on there. But the cheese does have a little bit of a crunch to it. It is not perfectly rehydrated. Tastes good. It kind of tastes like a mozzarella provolone cheese cracker. Great flavor. But the texture of the cheese did not come back to that stringy pulled cheese that you get straight out of the oven. A very acceptable meal, let me tell you. It puts me in mind of like a casserole that you make that has some crunchy breadcrumbs or something on the top. Because you do get that little bit of a crunchy texture to that. But I'm totally happy with this. The cheese and everything has come, other than the topping, has come back beautiful. The inside cheese, which was Parmesan, ricotta, mascarpone, those cheeses came back very well. I made a nice sauce. And the meat, of course, comes back well, and the egg noodles have come back beautifully. So I wouldn't call this a 10 out of a 10. I'd call it 8.5, just because of the crunchy cheese. And if you don't want crunchy cheese, you might give it a lower rating than 8.5. Totally acceptable. I wouldn't hesitate to do it again. But I can come up with better meals than it, to be honest with you. It's not a 10. But I'm going to have no problem polishing this off. So we'll keep it nice and short and sweet. I will say thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time. I think I got a nice one, a nice treat for you next time. I'll see you then.